Welcome to the Black Men Think podcast. If this is your first time here, know that the views and opinions expressed by the Black Men Think podcast are those of the Black Men Think podcast and not the individual members. With that being said, we're about to be unapologetically, undeniably black.
All right, okay, what's going on,
Enjoy.
people? Welcome to the Black Men Think podcast, where we elevate our black men, because black men be out here thinking. So, before we go any further, y'all probably wondering, why am I outside? Long story short, we'll get into that in a second, but make sure you like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend and tell a friend, all of that good stuff. If you guys want to be a part of the podcast, you can call and leave us a voicemail. That number is 404. Look, I'm trying to remember. 404-939-6477. Once again, it's 404-939-6477. So you can call, leave a voicemail, keep it 60 seconds or less. If we like what you got to say, we'll play it on the pod. So we're going to get into why I'm outside. But first, sip of the week. Now today, I am sipping on some Holmes hydration. Pretty good, because I'm actually feel like I'm getting sick. This here is the Temple brand. I don't know if y'all can see it's the Temple brand. Supports immune health. So this is something that I actually can need right now. So elderberry, turmeric, lemon peel. It actually tastes pretty good. I mean, the lemon peel is actually pulling through pretty good, and I can taste hints of the turmeric. So shout out to them for sending this. If y'all want to pick up some of this of y'all selves, y'all can go to homeshydration.com. That's HOLMESHYDRATION.com, and use the promo code BlackMenThink and get $5 off of your order. Once again, use the promo code BlackMenThink, get $5 off of your order. So, hey, go ahead and salute to them. Go ahead and support. We would greatly appreciate it if you guys do. So, back into why I'm outside. Homeboy check-in time. And this is actually going to be all I'm talking about, honestly. So, we had an accident at our house. We had a pipe leak on our water heater, and this happened a couple of weeks ago, actually. So we were able to get that resolved, bought a new pipe, changed the pipe out, and got up all the water that was leaking, and seemingly, that was the end of it, right? So we thought. So a week or two went by, and my wife and I, we woke up and it was like, man, it smells funny in the house, right? The house, our downstairs area, it just had a funny smell to it. And, I went, kind of started to investigate, see what I could find, and open up where my HVAC system is, which is also downstairs on the same level. And I can smell the smell coming from there. And so first thing I thought was like, man, hopefully this is like no mold or mildew or anything like that. Yes, it was. And so peel back one of the, we have like this, when we moved into this house, there's vinyl, there's like hardwood, but vinyl floor. It's like a vinyl laminate, right? Wouldn't recommend, by the way. And we've kind of been procrastinating on getting the floors done, but that's another story for another day. But peel back one of those things, man. I was just like, oh, I see it. So we can see like it was like a white, moldy, mildewy looking thing there, and like that's where the smell was coming from. So cleaned that up, and went to the store, bought some stuff to clean that up, and open up windows, because the smell was starting to intensify a little bit. So opened up some windows downstairs. I was like, man, I still smell it, even after kind of like finding where the source of it was, right? And I was like, man, no, I still smell it. And so I moved some furniture, and I noticed one spot that one of the flooring had kind of buckled, and I peeled that back, and I found more of what I found inside of the HVAC closet. And so at that point, I was like, okay, I got to call somebody, right? So I immediately called my insurance company first. I was like, hey, I don't know if this is something that they cover, but called, explained the situation. They called out a remediation company, I think, is that right? Or yeah, remediation company. So called them out. They did some investigation, and there was like Oh yeah. So like your flooring, they use like this infrared meter, and they said, well, a normal reading on wood would be anywhere between like 60 to like 90. And they put it on a wood I have a wood coffee table, as you guys see, that's normally in the shot. They put it on the wood coffee table, and it showed me it was like reading at like 85 or 90, something like that. Then he put it on my floor. It was like, now your floor is not wood, but you have a concrete slab up under there, and so we would expect maybe 120. And these readings are for moisture readings. He put that reading on my floor, and that floor, it read 220 something. He was like, yeah, y'all have way too much moisture. And so I'm going to recommend we got to take up all the flooring downstairs. So not only did they take up all the flooring, they brought in these machines. There's these 3 big machines. They're about like, no exaggeration, they're like the size of like generators. They brought them in, and these things just suck up the moisture from the ground. And so, and they're loud, very loud. If I was quiet enough, you could hear it right now. I'm right outside of the studio space, and it's loud. And so we have 3 of these machines running. They came out on a Thursday. Just to let you guys know, I'm recording this on Super Bowl Sunday. We usually don't timestamp things like this, but I'm recording this on Sunday. They came on Thursday, removed everything, and they started the machines on Thursday. They've been here ongoing since Thursday, Friday, Saturday, now Sunday. So now we're on like the 4th day of these machines running. And so the process is, once, I'm assuming they're going to come back tomorrow. I'm hoping they're coming back tomorrow, because they've been closed all weekend. I can't get in contact with anybody. But their process is, once all the moisture is gone, they'll do an additional cleanup, and then they'll do a deodorizer. I can tell you that the house smells way better than it did on Thursday. On Thursday it was unbearable. And, I think if it wasn't for us being able to have like a separate living space upstairs, I mean, we probably would have just went to a hotel or something, but we couldn't smell anything upstairs. And we have everything we literally have plastic covering on the steps going upstairs. So like you have to unzip it to go downstairs. It's that type of situation. And so not only is that going on, I had to move all of stuff everywhere. So it's all kind of craziness going on in there. But we got a pod, right? And so we're doing a solo pod. Of course, I couldn't have the fellas over to the crib today because it was just like unbearable. And we actually tried to work out a couple of scheduling conflicts to like go to somebody else's house. We couldn't get it done, but wanted to come and pod anyway. So I don't know how long we're going to be down, because once this gets done, then we have to get the flooring done. And so the flooring is usually like a 1 to 2 day process. I know that just from previous experiences. So I'm hoping that Monday they come out, they figure out what's going on. And my hope is on Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll have somebody out here doing some flooring, and I hope to be done by Thursday, Friday. Man, I don't really know, but it's uncomfortable. And that's part of what I want to talk about today, right? Like finding beauty in being uncomfortable. So us as black men, bro, we know we can be in some very uncomfortable situations. And a lot of times when we're in those uncomfortable situations, we either don't talk about it, we don't tell people, we kind of handle those situations on our own. And so, part of the goal today in this conversation is to just say like, hey, be comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? It's the inevitable. It's going to happen. We're going to be in uncomfortable situations, but we have to find ways to keep the ball rolling, right? Keep life going, keep things happening. Yes, it's uncomfortable. I have these 3 loud machines going on right now in my house. It's unbearable. It's Super Bowl Sunday, so any plans of having, a Super Bowl party done, even watching the game is difficult because one of the machines is in, the living room, and one is in the studio. So I have, I'm watching everything. If I watch TV, everything is with the captions on, right? Because I can't watch the TV, but so loud. So it's uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable. It's not what I would ideally like, but it's something that's necessary because we actually caught it pretty early. I can only imagine if we kind of just like ignored the smell or whatever and just kept going. I mean, it could have been a deadly situation for like par, par, I said par, poor health could have been a result of that. And so, we're just thankful that we actually found it early, and we have a very, small time of being uncomfortable. But in this, we're just like trying to learn from it, right? So just making sure, you stand on top of things when you're in an uncomfortable situation. Try to find some resolve in that and find, okay, yes, I'm uncomfortable right now, but what could I do to make this a better situation for me, my family, for others around you? And so I want to hear from you guys. Like, tell me what has been some uncomfortable situation that you've had to deal with, and when you were faced with those challenges, what did you do to resolve it? Right? For us, yeah, we're uncomfortable. Yeah, can't really utilize my space. But I'll tell you one thing that I did notice in this. Right, we're having to move everything around. It's time to get rid of some stuff. My utility closet is where I keep my shoes, I keep all my golf stuff, and I had to take all of that stuff out. And so in taking that stuff out and kind of sitting it in different places of the house and even bringing some stuff outside temporarily, I brought out 4 golf bags. I don't need 4 golf bags. So I got to get rid of some stuff. And I'll tell you, my wife is very great at getting rid of things. Like she get rid of stuff monthly, sometimes probably more than monthly, but she's big on not holding on to things too long, right? Like if there's something that she noticed that, oh, this might be her favorite pair of jeans, and she'll put those jeans on and like they're not comfortable the way they once were. She's not gonna hold on to the jeans to like and wait until they get comfortable again. She's just gonna go ahead and get rid of them. Same thing with like, clothes, shoes, anything that there is something that doesn't necessarily feel right with, she's out with it, out with the old and with the new type. And like I can do that at times, but I've noticed something about myself where there are certain things that I'll hold on to. Like I have in my closet right now, as you guys know, I have a music background, and like I'm heavily involved with helping indie artists on their careers, right? And so I've come across, thousands of indie artists, and they'll give me merch. They'll give me, that's my kid right there. They're about to come outside, so it's gonna get loud. Hey, I'm recording the podcast. You want to come and say hey? Okay, come and say hey. She's gonna come and say hey. This is live right now. This is my daughter. Hello. She has on something that she just made up herself, but cool. Can you give me a second? I'll be in just a second.
I want to play
Okay.
outside.
But, and I lost train of thought, but I'm gonna see. But yeah, so I have these artists. Yeah, go ahead. And so, have these artists, and I just have all of their things right at the crib. And so like they'll give me merch, they'll give me CDs, all of these different things, and I keep them for whatever reason, right? Like, somebody paid their hard-earned money on it. They were nice enough to give it to me. I usually hold on to some of that stuff. But I mean, I tell you, I have stuff from years that I really need to purge. I don't know how to purge those things and what to do with them, but I have them. And so part of this process has just really taught me, you have to let go of something at some point. And so even though I've been uncomfortable this whole week, I'm trying to find some positives in that being uncomfortable, like trying to find some other things that where I can look at it and say, all right, boom, there's room for change in this space. There's room for change in this space. And just try to find that and be present in that, So that's where we are today. Ask a black man. Let's see what we have. I don't have any, let's see. Okay. Excuse me. This is a good one. It kind of ties into what we've been talking about. What's the dumbest thing you spent a paycheck on? From Mark. I'll just say Mark. I can't pronounce your last name, Mark. Sorry about that. Mark S. There you go. What's the dumbest thing you've ever spent a paycheck on? I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm not like the big spender like that. I'm more of an experiences type guy. Like I'll take a trip in a second. I don't. When it comes to taking a trip, I don't really think. Like if I want to go somewhere, I want to go, and I don't want to think about the cost to go there. Even though I may look for a deal here and there, I'll find some ways to pay for that. But I'm not necessarily worried about when I'm taking a trip. But the dumbest thing I probably spent money on, I would say definitely shoes and clothes. I'll say that because like in college, and I went to Georgia State. For those that know me and the fellows, we all went to Georgia State, and it was like maybe my sophomore year, not knowing a lot about credit, having to learn those things on our own. Got a credit card just like everybody else, probably from a pizza or a t-shirt or something like that. And had my little 500, I don't know, maybe $1,000 limit, something, nothing crazy. And there used to be a clothing store next to Lenox called Focus. Anybody that was in Atlanta from like maybe 2002 to like 2006 maybe, remember Focus? It used to be like their bag. I remember their bag was like a green bag with gold letters, but Focus. They were like an urban wear store. But man, I remember going into Focus and like going in there thinking that I was like really had money. And at the time, I think I was working at, maybe like Finish Line or something like that. And man, I went in there and I think I probably maxed out that credit card. I easily spent 500 in there. And what's crazy is now, all these years later, I can't even tell you what I bought. Like I know I bought clothes, but I can't tell you what I bought, right? But I know that I ran it up. And I mean, it was definitely one of the dumbest things ever. It took me a while to get out of like that credit card debt at the time. But it just wasn't a smart decision. And I've learned from that. I'll say for me now, the frivolous spending, I really don't spend on anything crazy unless it's like I'll spend on equipment, like I buy equipment. I buy something that, anything that can lead to more money, even if that might be something that's down the line. I'll buy it, right? Like I'll buy it and I won't really, not necessarily hesitate. Like, it's kind of like one of those necessary things. Like, yo, my headphones broke. I need some headphones. I'm going to buy the headphones. I'm not going to think about getting headphones. I'm going to go and get the headphones that I need and like carry on with life. But yeah, I would say that's probably the one. Cause like I didn't have anything crazy. Like I didn't go and splurge and buy like the nice car. I didn't, my first car that I bought was actually the car that I drive now. Everything prior to that, I was just blessed with. Like my very first car, my dad got, that was an 87 Blazer. I got that my sophomore year of college. Like I didn't have a car in high school. I drove my parents' car in high school. And then I had that car up until, I think I told that story here, but that car kept getting stolen while I was in college and in Atlanta living in an apartment. That car got stolen maybe like 4 or 5 times. Chevy Blazer, 87 Blazer. I used to love that car, but it constantly was getting stolen. But after that car, I got my parents' old Ford Taurus. It was a 2001 Ford Taurus. And I just rode that thing till I couldn't ride it no more. And, after that, the car that I actually bought was a Ford, a Ford Edge. So I'm not like big on cars. Like honestly, I need a truck. So yeah, the next purchase will be a truck more than likely. And I'm cool with a truck in the old school. I'm not big on cars like that. They don't really matter to me. Like I don't get excited about cars. I do get excited about trips. I like to travel. I like to see the world. So that's like my my thing. But yeah, the frivolous spending is not really a thing that I do. Right now, probably the most I spend money on is food. So I need to learn to control that a little bit more. Not even that I like to eat out heavy. It's just like, times I be on the move, and it's probably just not the best thing health wise, number one, of course. But I would say that's probably where my most frivolous spending comes from. But yeah, the time that I spent the most, spent the check, definitely Focus. Shout out to anybody that know what Focus is. It used to be in Atlanta next to Lennox Mall, in a little shopping center next to the Lennox Mall. But that's it, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm gonna keep y'all updated. I'll actually show y'all on our socials, man. Y'all will see what the house is looking like. It's not a fun thing, but you'll see why I'm outside right now in the backyard. But we do appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure, if you want to be a part of the podcast, you can call us and leave a voicemail. That number is 404-939-6477. Once again, it's 404-939-6477. Give us a call, leave a voicemail, keep it 60 seconds or less, and we'll be sure to answer it and play it on the podcast. Make sure you support our sponsor, Home Hydration. Use our promo code BlackManThink. Get $5 off on your order at homeshydration.com. So we appreciate y'all. We thank y'all. Remember, Black Man Think podcast, where we elevate our black man, because black men be out here thinking. Thank y'all. We appreciate y'all. Go ahead and join Patreon. We're gonna have some fun over there. Matter of fact, Patreon is where I'm gonna show y'all. I might record. I'm not gonna record from in the house, but I'll show y'all what the house looking like on Patreon if y'all want to see that. So y'all come on over. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
The Black Men Think Podcast.